Okay, I'll call the regular city council meeting, Monday, January 23rd, 2023 to order. Roll call, please.
Scott.
Here.
Beauregard.
Here.
Grams. Here. Kramer. Here. Zins.
Here. Everybody can stand. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Okay, before we get started, I got a comment to make. In the last couple of weeks, there's been a lot of things on social media. A lot of it is not factual. I wish that people that are posting these things would contact one of the counselors, myself, or somebody on the city staff to get this information and to find out before they put it out there. Because it is hurtful to our employees or staff and probably some of the council members when they see things that are put out there and aren't necessarily true. So I wish that people would please check with the city hall and get the facts straight before they start putting things out there. All right, moving on, consent agenda. Everybody had a chance to look over the consent items? And if so, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Motion's made by Councilor Borda. Is there support?
I'll second that.
Supported by Councilor Scott. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Guests and citizens.
Thank you, Council, for allowing me to speak tonight. I just have some concerns and comments concerning the last council meeting and what went down there. And these are my opinions and mine only. And so I want to start by saying there was a person that stood right in this podium and asked the question of the council. And I feel that she had the right to ask that question. And secondly, Miss Lammy stood up and responded. Well, she didn't stand up, but she answered that question. And when that question was asked, the look on her face changed dramatically. That was my observation. Probably nobody else saw that, but I saw the reaction. I thought it was agitation or anger. It's just my opinion that occurred. And the response from her was to this effect that if you want the answer, you need to go to the prior minutes of the council. And so she said, well, where do I find that information? And Miss Lammy responded and pointed to the book over there on the table. And then she went over and picked up that book and walked over here and opened it. And she saw what was in there and asked if she could at least get an idea of which one it would be in that book. And Miss Lammy responded and said, it's 1-1 or something like that. I don't know the exact words, but that was the reaction. And I thought it was very humiliating for this person to stand here and be subjected to that. And for this reason, there was no reason in my mind why that answer could have been given at any given time. And I don't know why the consul or Miss Lammy didn't feel that she deserved an answer at that point. And with that being said, I also feel that Miss Lammy was out of order because I don't feel she was recognized by the consul to answer that question. It is my understanding in proceedings of consuls, the administrator can be asked upon to give insight or recommendations or her feelings, but only if she's recognized or asked to answer a question by the consul. And if I'm wrong with that, so be it. But I just feel that, and I don't understand why the consul didn't intercede and answer that question. I see no reason whatsoever why that question wasn't answered. And you all know what that question was, and that was concerns with her location and where she lives. And I want you to vision one thing, and I want you to vision and think about it, where she is standing, where she lives. She stated, I believe, that she's lived there for 30 years. And if that's true, imagine you're looking out that window for 30 years across the field into the ballparks, the tree line across that way, and also enjoying the quiet and serene nature of that area, and not all the commotion that other areas in this town have. And so, with that being said, I just wonder, how would you feel, and that question was asked of the mayor, how would you feel if that business would be put in your front yard? And I ask that of any person that lives in this town, how would you feel if that was done to you?
Okay, Tom, thank you.
Well, wait a minute.
Wait a minute, you did not request to be on the council on the agenda. We're obligated to give you 3 minutes to speak.
Can I ask you a question?
You can certainly ask me a question.
Why then, in the 2 council meetings before, we were allowed 5 minutes? And now it's 3 minutes on the last one and 3 minutes now. Why is there change? And I also have spoken to.
I've been very liberal about giving extra time to people that have been up at that podium.
Developers, contractors, you give them the time to speak their case.
They're on the agenda.
You're on the agenda, is that what you want me to do?
You so
I
wish.
mean, I can say this and be done and I'll be gone. And I probably won't come back because it's a done deal. And I've heard that word many times in this thing that is going on. Then I also wonder, are you trying to stop me from speaking? And I don't understand why. I have the right under the First Amendment of the Constitution to speak in a public.
Exactly, and you've spoken at the last 3 meetings.
And I can't speak against.
You have been speaking.
And it has always been 3 minutes, that is the
Excuse
standard.
me?
It has always been 3 minutes if you're not on the agenda as.
I don't know of any other council meeting that I've ever attended or been to, or in the joining communities that put a limit on the public speaking at your meetings.
It is if you're not on the agenda item, just for the sake of timing of the meeting and so everyone knows what we're gonna talk about, that's the standard procedure. So you do have to be on the agenda if you want more than 3 minutes that are allowed for the guests.
And a couple of things that you're questioning, I did answer that, that land has been zoned commercial for since I think the town was designed. It's never changed. People that bought those houses along that block knew that. Because it took 30 years or 40 years for something to ever come there, that isn't my fault. I mean, you know, it's zoned, that's when somebody comes and they ask for areas that, you know, they can purchase, well, that was one of the areas that the city owned that was zoned commercial, and they chose that. Also, I read word for word the actions that were taking place, the correspondence between, and that was one of the things that lady asked about. And I read the whole from the very beginning of when we first were contacted by them.
Can I interrupt? That was done after. Why did she have to be humiliated in front of this council?
I don't think she was humiliated
I think she was. She walked out here.
because she wasn't happy.
She was upset.
Right, well, she was upset when she was questioning. She wasn't in a calm manner when she was asking the questions either.
But Mr. Mayor, Miss Lammy made that more so than what it could have been. If it would have been answered, it would have been a verdict. And that's my argument.
But it's a matter of opinion, and she's not here to tell us how she felt, so I don't think we can debate someone's feelings who aren't present to share with us.
And I would say that there was a full page summary of the whole timeline. of
Yes,
this.
I
And
was
it's
here.
included in our minutes up here that we have, and there's a copy of it in there of our minutes for everybody to see. And Becky assists a lot in putting all those together for us to run our meetings. So it's well within her view to tell somebody where she put the information in the packet, in my opinion. I believe it was 11:06 that night or something like that. And I believe I said it's 11:06, Becky said it was 11:06. You can flip through the binder and find 11:06. This one here is 10:1, pretty easy to find them, and she could read that whole page of the summary. I believe we were trying to avoid taking up all the time of Dave having to read through that whole document, when if you follow all the council meetings, which is a personal responsibility in the community you live in, to follow what's going on in your community, you would have had that in every meeting that was held.
Can I ask your lawyer something?
Certainly.
Mr. Attorney, do I have the right to speak here, or do I have, or can they limit my time here?
So you have a right to speak here. You're not on the agenda, but typically city councils have public forums where people can get up and address the council on any city item they wish to address. City council absolutely has a right to set a time limit. You're not on the agenda. City councils have the right to set a time limit. I've been a city attorney for 27 years, all across Iron Range. Every city council has almost everyone has a time limit on basically citizen concerns, or citizens get up on any item that's not on the agenda, they just show up and they want to address the council on something. Almost every city council has a time limit. Because the reason is we have business to conduct here, that's agenda business, we can't be here all night. Especially with issues that have already been decided by the council. I understand you have concerns. You've expressed those concerns, but the chair of the meeting absolutely has the right to impose a time limit that is not an infringement on your First Amendment rights.
Thank you. I just want to ask, how do I get on the agenda for the next meeting?
Stop down at City Hall, request to be put on the agenda, what your concerns are. And it has to be in by Wednesday previous to the council meeting on Monday by 4 p.m.
Correct.
This coming Monday?
The 13th is our next meeting.
So it would need to be Wednesday before the 13th at 4 p.m. And we typically request written documentation of what your concern is and what you would like addressed. So the council can prepare for the meeting.
Just two more things if you would give me the time. What was I gonna say? Sorry. I was gonna ask you a question. I got it. I was wondering that parcel that you gave, that was given to the developer, was that the entire block of Kennedy and 200 block of Kennedy and Hanover, or partial?
Partial.
Is there any way you
And
can?
it wasn't given, Tom, it was sold.
Well, sold. I'm sorry for the wording. I'm just wondering, is there any way that could be moved down and keep the basketball court?
The basketball court, Tom, we discussed this previously.
I
That was one of our concerns as a council,
okay,
the cost of moving that basketball court. We figured in the cost, we talked to our city public works director, we asked him what the cost would be to move that to the opposite end of that block.
oh, okay,
And that's where our intent is to put it, on the opposite end of that block. It isn't that much further for kids to go, and we figured that cost in, and that's what we proposed to them for the selling of that property.
why couldn't you have told me that before?
You didn't ask me.
We did
I
say.
believe we did
were
say
gonna- we were gonna have it.
You said you were gonna have, you said it was gonna be moved, but you didn't tell me where.
Well, we hadn't decided for sure, that's an
Well,
option.
that was-
Yeah, we haven't discussed it.
I
but
shouldn't say that's kind of where originally we had thought about moving.
Okay, I'm sorry I ran over, and I just want you to know that I'm not opposed to businesses coming in this community. But I just felt that this was not one that is gonna help us. And I know your plight, I know that the community is hurting. And it continues to hurt. So, thank you for letting me speak.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, reports from staff, city administrator Rami.
Nothing tonight, thank you, Mayor.
EMS director Olmsted.
Just agenda items with discussion.
Okay. City attorney Brumfield.
Mayor, also just three items, or actually, yes, three items, 11.3, 11.4, 11.5. On those agreements, these are basically any routine ambulance service related agreements. When we execute those agreements, the proper party identified in the agreement should be the city of White Lakes. I know in the agreements, they talk about the White Lakes ambulance service or whatever, but the proper party to the agreement is the city of White Lakes. So when you do get to approving those various agreements, I reviewed them, they generally look fine. It's just that you will have to approve them as amended to identify the proper party on our side as being the actual city of White Lakes rather than the department.
Okay,
But other than that, that's all I have.
thank you, Mitch. Reports from elected officials, Councilor Kramer,
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Councilor Grant.
I attended the library board meeting last Tuesday, and Sue was busy getting all the supplies and ordering stuff that she got the grant for the new additions. We're starting the adult reading program, which is going good, and I think that was about it. She'll finish ordering all her supplies and get everything put together.
Thank you. Councilor Border.
I would just like to reiterate what Mayor Zins said in the opening. If people have questions or want to learn some more information, I'm always available, reach out. I'm on Facebook and my email, I believe, is on the website for the city. If I don't know it, I can try to find the information and try to be helpful towards finding solutions and getting them appointed. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Scott.
I don't have anything, Mayor.
Okay, and I already addressed my concerns. Old business, ordinance number 239, amending section 152 zoning. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is to add 2 items to retail location zoning, which would include the tobacco and THC stores. Just add them right at the end there. The next 2 ordinances address the specifics of what types of tobacco and THC stores can look like, as far as cleanliness and nuisance, that kind of thing. But this is just to make allowances for those within our retail districts.
And there's a note too, I mean, there are some typos in there, the word amending is misspelled, some, you know,
Yeah.
those need to be cleaned up, but, yeah. When they're actually officially adopted and published.
But you don't see any other additional with them other than titles? Okay, thanks, Mitch. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 239, amending section 152 of the zoning?
Make that motion.
Motion's made by Counselor Graham, there's support.
I'll support.
Supported by Counselor Kramer. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 10-2, ordinance number 240 concerning tobacco and tobacco products. Becky?
So this would set forth regulations for tobacco licensing within the city. So St. Louis County currently licenses all our tobacco holders, as we didn't have an ordinance prior to this. Once this ordinance passes, for 2023, retailers will maintain their St. Louis County license, and then starting 2024, they apply to the city for that license. It also regulates that, you know, the type of storefront, you can't have like a van and sell cigarettes out of them, that kind of thing. So it's just, the St. Louis County currently manages it. We're looking to manage it to help regulate THC products.
And Mitch, you looked over this also?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve ordinance number 240 concerning tobacco and tobacco products?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Counselor Kramer, is there support? I'll support that. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And 10-3 ordinance number 241 concerning tetrahydrocannabinoid. I'm not even sure I said that right. Right in front of me, but in parentheses, TCH. or
I think it's
THC.
THC, but
And a lot of this obviously is coming down from the state. So we're just trying to get ahead of it so that we're regulating it the way we would like to see in our community. So go ahead, Becky, and
okay, so this is a regulation that indicates you have to have a tobacco store to have a THC store, so it ties them together. So all of the regulations for a tobacco store itself, clean storefront, not nuisance to your neighbors, that kind of stuff, also applies to this ordinance. The other thing that when Stuart, Tim and I were looking at them, we really tried to do is make it so it would be easy to amend if cannabis was ever legalized in this state. So you could then amend this to really well fit into a distribution center or anything like that.
once again, Mitch, you looked this over.
Yeah, and Mayor, I think, and it is well suited as far as the ordinance is concerned, because obviously there's a lot of activity in the legislature right now for the possible legalization of marijuana, so this will actually nicely with that, and but I think it's good to go. I think it is the city really getting ahead of the curve on this,
Yeah,
as far as being able to regulate the activity within the city limits.
okay, thank you. So is there a motion to approve ordinance number 241?
Make that motion.
Motion made by Counselor Kramer, is there support?
I'll support.
Supported by Counselor Graham, any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, 11.1, this is a resolution to apply for the Minnesota Department of Public Safety turnout gear. This is resolution 2023-004. Yeah, go ahead.
So Secretary Jordan Moronsky, has completed the application that's in front of you. There is a 10% match, which is phenomenal as far as grants go. Usually it's 50-50. So, they will pay 90% and we will pay 10% if we are awarded this grant. It's to wash and dry turnout gear, which is the gear the firefighters wear. Obviously, it's big, it's bulky, it does not fit in a regular washing machine, so. This would help with those costs.
Now, these are heavy duty washers and dryers.
And I see it says this, proposal includes plumbing, electrical installation, so this will cover, we just have to pay the 10% of the total. Right?
Okay, is there a motion to approve resolution 2023-004? I'll make that motion. Motion made by Counselor Scott, is there support?
I'll support.
Deb?
Yeah.
Kramer supports, Counselor Kramer. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 11.2, this is a resolution to apply for the Penguin Random House Grant. Becky?
This is for the library to apply for $1,000 from Penguin Random House to continue their Hoopla service, which is a digital service. You can download the app to your phone and listen to audiobooks or read ebooks. It's great. Our community, as far as I'm aware, loves it. I use it all the time to listen to audiobooks. So I think supporting that program and any grant funding we can get will be beneficial.
Okay, is there a motion to approve resolution 2023-005?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Councilor Borgard, is there support?
I'll second that.
Supported by Councilor Scott. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, now Mitch, this is the ones that you were talking about.
Yeah, if you look at the first paragraph, it just says that the party is the Atlantic CMS, that should just be city.
Okay. Becky, you want to touch on this?
I'll actually have it.
So this is a subsidy that we get from St. Louis County. I believe it started back in 1984. We've been getting the same payments from the county since then. That's why we had no, I suppose maybe one day in 1984, we have no contract. I have never seen one. So they raised their rates. We were getting $16 per run. It's going up to $23 per run. We also get mileage at 22 cents a mile, and it's for every run that we do outside of the 55750 zip code. So we get paid per mile for all our transfers plus $23 per run.
And that's above and beyond insurance.
Yeah, it's just straight from the county.
Okay.
I submit a report to them monthly.
Okay. So, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
And just look the amendment.
Yeah, I have it amended.
Motion with the amended
Yeah.
amendments, okay? Is there a second? I'll second that. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Mel, you wanna do this one too, the helicopter and everyone?
Yeah, so we've never really had intercept agreements with any air care providers. And our building company inquired about them. I told her we didn't have them, so she got us them. Pretty cut and dry. It's basically, we do this already, but we've never had an agreement in writing.
And that applies to this one and the light.
Yes.
All right, and then the only difference is, again, where it says EMS, be the city of White Lake.
Yeah, it just says here on this one, it says by the town, and so just want to make sure it's right.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve with that amendment, to city of Great Lakes.
Okay, motion made by Counselor Kramer. Is there support?
Support.
Supported by Counselor Grimes. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Lake Link 3 collaboration agreement.
It was the last one. That first one was North Memorial Air Care, and the second one's like, that's the two air support services we deal with.
Is there any difference in these two?
North Memorial pays better, but other than that.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve 11.5 Lake Link 3 collaboration agreement?
I'll make that motion with the amendment of city of White Lakes instead of White Lakes ambulance.
All right, motion made by Counselor Grimes, is there support?
I'll second that.
Supported by Counselor Scott. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. 11.6, Mel.
So we interviewed, a gal last week that, is already trained as an EMT. She did well at her, face-to-face interview and passed her physical agility test, so we're recommending hiring her as a part-time EMT.
And I also attended that interview, and I think she's a very sharp young lady, and I think she'd be a great addition to our EMS service here, so. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Motion,
Pending background physical.
Yes. pending.
is there support?
I'll support.
Supported by Counselor Porter. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And 11.7, we have, a letter of retirement from Nate Skelton.
We will issue a letter of thanks for his years of service with this.
Is there a motion to approve the request on retirement? I'll make that motion. Is there support?
I'll support.
Supported by Council Border. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And 11.8, request for installment payments of delinquent utility fees. And before you, there is a payment schedule and amount on the delinquent fees. Anybody wish to make a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Council Border, is there support?
I'll support.
Supported by Councilor Kramer. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Motion for adjournment,
Make that one.
motion made by Councilor Kramer, for support. I'll support that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.